Hello everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today we're discussing a very important health alert from the NHS that you need to know about, especially if you have children, are a teenager, or a young adult. The NHS has issued a serious warning about meningitis and is urging people to ensure their vaccinations are up to date. So, what exactly is meningitis? It's a dangerous infection of the protective membranes that surround your brain and spinal cord. It can affect anyone, but it's most common in babies, young children, and young adults. The reason this warning is so critical is that meningitis can become life-threatening very quickly. If it's not treated promptly, it can lead to sepsis, which is a medical emergency and can cause permanent damage to the brain or nerves. Over the weekend, the NHS took to social media, stating, "Meningitis can be life-threatening and result in permanent damage to the brain or nerves. Several vaccinations offer protection against it." This highlights the primary defense we have against this illness: vaccination. Now, you might be wondering, is there just one vaccine for meningitis? The answer is no. Since meningitis can be caused by several different types of bacteria and viruses, there isn't a single shot that covers everything. Instead, there's a series of vaccinations that protect against the most common and dangerous causes. The good news is that most of these jabs are part of the standard NHS vaccination schedule for children. So, if you have little ones, they likely have received them. However, it's always best to be certain. The NHS advises that if you're unsure about your child's vaccination status, you should contact your GP surgery. They can check your child's records and make sure they are fully protected and up to date. This also applies to teenagers and university students who are in a high-risk group. One of the scariest things about meningitis is how quickly the symptoms can appear and escalate. So, let's talk about what to look for. Common symptoms include a high fever, being sick, a headache, and a stiff neck. You might also see a blotchy rash that doesn't fade when you press a glass against it. This is a classic sign, but it doesn't always appear. Other symptoms can include confusion, irritability, a dislike of bright lights, and drowsiness or difficulty waking up. In babies, you might notice them being floppy and unresponsive, refusing to feed, or having a bulging soft spot on their head. The official advice is crystal clear. If you suspect for a moment that you or someone you're with has meningitis or sepsis, you need to act immediately. This isn't a wait-and-see situation. You should call 9999 for an ambulance or go directly to the nearest A&E. The health authorities stress to trust your instincts. Don't wait for all the symptoms to show up, and definitely don't wait for a rash to develop. A person with meningitis can get very sick, very quickly. Your swift action could save a life. Let's break down the two main types of meningitis. It's usually caused by either a bacterial or a viral infection. Viral meningitis is more common and is generally less severe. People often make a full recovery. Bacterial meningitis, however, is the one that's considered a major medical emergency. It's rarer, but it's far more serious and can be fatal. An interesting and slightly unnerving fact is how it spreads. You can catch the bacteria or viruses that cause meningitis from people who are carrying them in their nose or throat, but aren't actually sick themselves. They are carriers, showing no symptoms. It's also possible, though less common, to catch it directly from someone who is actively ill with meningitis. This is why vaccination is so important. It protects you from some of the most dangerous strains that cause bacterial meningitis. The available vaccines have been incredibly successful in reducing the number of cases. So, what happens if someone is suspected of having meningitis? They'll be admitted to the hospital right away. Doctors will run tests, usually including a lumbar puncture, to confirm the diagnosis and, crucially, to figure out if it's bacterial or viral. This is vital because the treatment is different. For bacterial meningitis, treatment involves antibiotics given directly into a vein, and it usually requires a hospital stay of at least a week. Prompt treatment is key. Most people who get treated quickly for bacterial meningitis will make a full recovery. However, even with the best care, some individuals can be left with serious, long-term health problems. These can include hearing loss, vision problems, memory and concentration issues, and even limb loss in cases of associated sepsis. So, the key takeaway from the NHS warning is to be proactive, not reactive. First, check your and your family's vaccination records. Talk to your GP. If you're a student heading to university, make sure you've had the MenACWY vaccine, which is routinely offered to teenagers. Second, know the symptoms. Memorize them. Tell your friends and family about them. Awareness is a powerful tool. And third, if you ever have any suspicion of meningitis, trust your gut and get medical help immediately. Don't hesitate. This isn't meant to scare you, but to empower you with the right information. By being vaccinated and knowing the signs, we can protect ourselves and our loved ones from this devastating illness. Thank you so much for watching. If you found this information helpful, please give this video a thumbs up and consider subscribing to the channel for more important health updates. Stay safe and we'll see you in the next video.